The call came at 2:14 a.m., a soft vibration on the nightstand, a number I knew, a number I had stopped expecting. "Sir, this is the hospital. The delivery bill is short $30,000. $30,000. A sharp, clean number, not the kind that slips through cracks. I sat there in the dark, staring at the wall. The same wall I had stared at 3 nights earlier, after driving 12 hours to witness my grandson's first breath, only to be told I wasn't wanted. "Sir," the voice repeated, "we were told you might help." Told. I felt something shift inside me. A small, quiet click, like a key turning in a lock I had bolted years ago. I remembered the hallway, the cold linoleum, my daughter-in-law's mother blocking the door with a polite smile too sharp to be genuine. "Sir, our daughter wants only her family here." And my son? His eyes lowered, his voice barely a whisper. "Don't push it. She never wanted you." 12 hours, 1 suitcase, 1 hope, all dismissed with a sentence. Now they wanted money. I inhaled once, slowly, deeply, and I simply said, "Send me the itemized bill. Nothing more, nothing less." And I hung up. The silence afterward felt cleaner than air, as if something old inside me had finally died, or finally awakened. I should have slept, but sleep was just another place where memories waited. My son, once a boy who used to sprint into my arms, now a man who couldn't meet my eyes. His marriage had rewritten him, subtle at first, then brutally clear. Requests became demands. Distance became routine. Conversations became transactions. But that hospital moment, that was different. There was something rehearsed in his words, something practiced. She never wanted you. A wife I barely knew, a family I had never wronged. Yet a hatred delivered so smoothly it felt inherited. Why? I sat at my kitchen table and opened the bill when it arrived. Not the number, those never mattered. The details. Emergency NICU fees, special attendance charges, private suite upgrade, $30,000, for comforts they never offered me, but demanded from me. And then I saw it, at the bottom, the signature of financial responsibility. My son's name scratched out, replaced by a new one, his father-in-law's. A different man, a wealthier one who had always treated me as a temporary placeholder in my own son's life. But if he had agreed to cover the bill, why were they calling me? Something cold slid through my chest. Someone had changed the file. Someone who thought I'd be desperate to help. Someone who thought guilt was still a chain around my neck. And beneath that realization, a deeper one. They hadn't just excluded me. They had erased me. Not by accident, by design. The betrayal wasn't about a hospital door. It was older, sharper, and suddenly painfully clear. Morning light crept slowly across the floor when I made my decision. Not to confront, not to accuse. I'd done those things once in my life. They never changed anyone. People reveal themselves only when they believe no one is watching. So I watched, quietly. My first step was simple. Call the hospital's billing department. Ask questions, precise ones. Who changed the guarantor signature? When? From what IP address? At what hour? The answers came in soft, confused pieces. Their system showed 2 edits, both made the same night I was turned away. The first adding the father-in-law, the second removing him. The second edit came from my son's phone, not her family, not hospital staff, my son. The same son who told me not to push it. The same son who couldn't look at me when he said she didn't want me. I stared at the timestamp, 2 hours after I had left the hospital parking lot, 2 hours after he watched me walk away without resisting. I spent that day gathering more, screenshots of public records, digital footprints, financial filings, buried details of a family trying to maintain an image more than a bond. Then I checked my messages. Nothing from him, not even a courtesy note. 12 hours to get there, 30 seconds to erase me. That night, I sat in my car outside their house, engine off. Not stalking, not angry, just listening to the quiet hum of a life that had no space for me unless money was involved. It wasn't grief anymore, it was clarity. And clarity, I've learned, is the sharpest weapon a man can hold. When the truth arrived, it wasn't dramatic, just an email from the hospital's fraud prevention officer. Short, professional. The original financial guarantor, my son's father-in-law, had contacted them, furious, insisting he never withdrew his signature. He provided evidence, documents, proof of authorization. The hospital compared records and confirmed it. My son had edited the file himself, altering it so the bill would fall on me. Not because they couldn't pay, not because they needed help, because they assumed I would. Because they believed guilt was still my leash. I stared at the email for a long time. Not hurt, not shocked, just stead. The truth didn't sting. It clarified. 3 days ago, I had been a burden, an embarrassment, unwanted. Now I was a wallet, a rescue plan, a backup source of pride and convenience. I printed the documents, placed them neatly in a folder, drove to the hospital. My son and his wife were in the recovery suite, surrounded by her family, laughing, rested, comfortable. He looked up when I walked in. Surprise, then irritation, then something colder, fear. Dad? What do you... I placed the folder on the table. No words, just paper. His wife's mother picked it up, read it. Her breathing changed first, then his. He opened his mouth, closed it. Dad, I can explain. But explanations are for people who made mistakes, not choices. I met his eyes for the first time in years, and he finally saw me. Not the man he thought he could use, but the man who had stopped kneeling long ago. I didn't yell, didn't accuse, didn't ask why. Why would I? They already knew. I received a call, I said quietly, about a missing payment. My son swallowed, hard. His wife looked confused, then defensive, then scared. Her father read the documents twice, then glared at her, then at my son. A lifetime of respect collapsing silently. "You forged my withdrawal?" the older man whispered. My son's face crumpled into panic. The room spiraled. Excuses, denials, half-sentences. I didn't speak. I simply handed the hospital representative my prepared note. A formal statement: I hereby decline responsibility for all charges. I recommend the hospital seek payment from the individual who altered the records. Signed, dated, clear. My son froze. Dad, please, don't do this. But it wasn't cruelty. It was accuracy. You made a choice, I said softly. I'm respecting it. His wife's voice cracked. We thought, you always... Yes, I said. I always paid. I looked at my grandson then, small, new, untouched by their games. I will not be used to buy entry into a family that doesn't want me. There it was, the truth, simple, precise. Her family stared at them with a mixture of disgust and disbelief. My son realized something in that moment, something irreversible. He hadn't just lost money, he had lost the image he spent years building, and he did it with his own hands. I left the room before anyone found their next sentence. The hallway felt warm, quieter, lighter. Not because I'd won, but because I'd finally stopped losing. I walked out of the hospital into the sharp afternoon sun, the kind that forces you to see things clearly. For years, I thought distance meant failure, that if I stood far enough away, my son might forget I was the flawed, imperfect man who raised him alone. But standing close only revealed the truth. He wasn't avoiding my mistakes, he was repeating them, without the honesty that once forced me to face mine. As I reached my car, my phone buzzed again. A message from the hospital confirming receipt of my refusal. Cold, administrative, perfect. I sat there a moment, letting the engine idle. Then I whispered, Not to him, not to them, just to myself. Some doors stay closed for a reason. I didn't look back at the hospital. There was nothing left behind me worth returning to. Only a future where I owed nothing. Not even forgiveness.